Hello, Steve White, Steve White 39. Well, I've had a fairly super week. I missed episode 6 because I totally forgot that Superman and Lois was back on. Because it had been so long, I just got used to it not being on. And then I couldn't watch it, and episode 7 happened, and I watched them both last night, finally. And now tonight I find that episode 8 has dropped. So I've had 2 nights in a row of Superman after, I think, 7 weeks without it. So it's been pretty good. This episode was good. They're all good, so it's a bit redundant. This one was more emotional because it was dealing with some issues that Lois was having. And often, the stories are all about Superman and all about saving the planet and so forth. And this was, we've had time with the boys and their issues and that, but this was sort of a Lois episode without being really all about her. But the most powerful scenes, I guess, were the ones of her talking. It starts off with her going to a therapist who is someone in the army, I guess she's been to before. She did go to once before, only once. That was all she could find time for. Basically, she had a miscarriage and she blamed herself because she didn't change her life. She didn't do anything different. She kept working and so forth, and I guess she felt that she had caused it, which I think is probably something a lot of women go through. And she only got one therapy session. She, I guess, buried it, thought she was okay. But when they eventually found out about Steel and found out about the alternate universe and the daughter that she had, because she lost a daughter, and the daughter was called Natalie, and the daughter that she had in the other universe was Natalie. So it was like she had the daughter in another life and missed out on that. So that brought all that up for her. And we'll come back to that. Basically, the army's going to interrogate Steel. They're playing with him. They're trying to get information out of him, but Clark is trying to sort of maneuver them around the way he wants them to deal with Steel, but they're not really playing because, well, they don't like Superman telling them what to do. It was so weird. I never realised until this episode that the guy playing Lois's father is the guy from Nip Tuck. I don't know why. It's something about it was just in light. He's normally in the shadows. He was sitting there in the middle of the interview room with the light right on him, like, oh my God, that's the guy from Nip Tuck. So that distracted me for like a scene. But they were talking about using torture methods on him and using truth serum and experimental things and that on him. And ultimately they weren't going to. And there were these 2 army guys who were like dragging him around. One was really big, one was really small. The big one wanted to torture him privately, basically, to get stuff out of him. And the other guy's like, no. And then he suddenly kills the guy by smashing him into the walls, and you realise that he's got the Kryptonian powers. So he takes him off, and he's planning to... I'm not sure what he was planning to do, but he took him to the lab where they have all the Kryptonian weapons that they are building secretly to attack Kryptonians and defend themselves from Kryptonians and Superman. So, of course, Superman shows up and they fight using green gas. And why he didn't rip off his mask right away, it took him like half the scene before he finally did that, and then they're on equal terms. And eventually Superman's nearly killed, and Steel comes back and stabs the Kryptonian soldier, because he was a soldier. He obviously was turned that way. He wasn't born that way. He's one of Morgan Edge's people, which apparently are everywhere. And of course, he stabs him with a Kryptonian spear. And at the end of that, he's thinking of killing Clark. He wants to. He's poised. He's got the spear there, and then all of a sudden, the army guys burst in, and Lois, who he's been wanting to talk to the whole time, shows up, and she says, look, I know who you are. I know about Natalie. I know what you're going through. I know you feel like you've failed, blah, blah, blah. She talks him down. He doesn't kill him. Clark and Lois's father have a little heart-to-heart where there's some trust issues on account of the fact that he's been developing weapons to destroy him the whole time. And then getting back to Jonathan, because I sort of want to say that for the end because the other scene is sort of the end of the show, really. Basically, he feels inadequate. They are working on the car. The two supermen are working on the truck that got damaged from them basically running over steel last episode. And, of course, he's standing there holding the wrench, just impotent. He can't do anything. They're like just twisting the car back into shape with their raw hands and, lasering it with their eyes and everything. So he asked to check out the van with Lois because she was trying to work out stuff, trying to get clues or work out what, was in there. So he goes, he does that. They work together for a while, but then she goes off to do something and he goes back by himself because he wants to find weapons. He wants to find something to defend himself because he feels inadequate. He feels helpless. He feels like he can't do anything to protect himself or them. He sets off an alarm. It's going to kill him. Lois sort of rescues him because she contacts Superman just in time, who runs out on what's name being interrogated. He shows up. He shields him from being shot to death. And she afterwards loses her mind because this is where the episode starts, where she's talking to a therapist about how she went off at someone and she got angry and lost control. And she blows up at him because basically she nearly lost him and she basically said, he was stupid. It would have been his own fault. He was reckless and stupid and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't that harsh. I think it was just because she's a control freak, the loss of control. And that's, I guess, the difference between parenting well and parenting bad. If you punish or tell your child off in a controlled fashion, that's different from losing control and striking out at them. That's sort of the difference between discipline and abuse. So it could be much more harsh, but, he runs off basically and she feels like a horrible mother. And she comes back and at the end, like I said, she tells him about the miscarriage. She basically says, I, was reminded of that and I nearly lost you at the same time and I just lost control. And he said he understood. They cried on each other's shoulders. It was a nice moment, nice scene. It's going to be my thumbnail. And it's nice when they can do a good job of mixing, the family side, the superhero stuff, the emotions, the story elements. It was a fairly balanced episode because some are a bit more family orientated, and then you get others that are more superhero orientated. This was a nice balance. This one, and I enjoyed it. I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Jonathan that much. He seems like this absolutely average as guy, and there's nothing interesting about the character or the actor for me. But I feel bad for him because, like she says to him, we are basically the extraordinary humans in, a family of super people. And it's not easy, and I will help you. So they have a nice moment. And then for some reason they just let Steel go, and he's just hanging out at their place, and he just drives off on his own, and Superman's like, well, if you ever want to come back and, fight together, basically, you know where to find me. And he drives off and he basically says to Lois, look, there's a lot of things I'd like to say, but you're not her, you just look like her. So he just leaves and just sort of ends there. I can't think of anything else from it that was... I did forget another element, sorry. There was Sarah. I forgot about Lana. They had a little story as well. Everything was included in this episode, nicely balanced. Everything progressed. Basically, what's his name, Kevin or Kyle? Kyle is not happy that he didn't get offered this special role at where his wife works. God, I'm forgetting the name of the Morgan. I can't remember the name. You know what I'm talking about, I won't. So he is not happy, and he bumps into Leslie. And she's like, oh, sorry you didn't want to take up, the offer that we gave you. And he's like, yeah, what offer? Because she's making it look like Lana didn't let him know that he had an offer that he could have worked for them. She says, no, there was no role for you. Leslie must be wrong. He must have, Morgan must have told her something else. He buys it, but he goes home upset. Now, the reason why he showed up was because Sarah wanted to audition for like the theatre group or whatever that they have at the school. And so he agrees to help her out. He gets all excited because she used to do that when they was younger, and I think he had some musical talent or some aspirations when he was younger, so he's excited to see her getting back into that. He offers to help her. They do a video when they're preparing. He goes to the office to show Lana. That's why he's there, and finds out all that. But he leaves, gets upset. He doesn't show up at the actual audition. So Jordan ends up helping her. He does a very bad piano accompaniment, and she sings. And the actress can really sing. She's really good. And then, of course, she goes back, reads him the right act, because, don't promise things. If you can't be there, just say so. Don't promise things and disappoint me. So he feels like a failure because he's a loser, basically, and I don't like him. And yeah, that was the other little arc that I forgot about. Lana is obviously hiding things now, because I didn't mention in my other little review that Lana eventually, once Sarah had the incident with the super friend of hers, she starts to realise that something's happening at Morgan Hedge. So she decides to help Lois, but they don't tell Kyle. So Kyle and her both said they wouldn't help Lois when she originally asked, but now she's decided to help. So she's literally like a spy in the agency. And yeah, that's the episode. That's everything. And I mean, I haven't had an episode disappoint yet. Okay, they've only done 8 episodes, but they've all been good. So I'm feeling good. I do feel like they're trying really hard to pander to the Bible Belt and the centre of the country in America, and the sort of right-wing sort of conservative sort of, it just feels totally opposite from all the other superhero films. There's no representation, there's no gay people, there's just a bunch of good old white boys, and but they're handled with some objectivity, so it's kind of okay. But I can see why all the Fandom Menace people love this show, and why it's not getting the same punishment that the other CW shows are getting. I'm not sure all of them deserve it. I mean, I think Batwoman probably does, but probably not the others. But yep, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'd be surprised. People are sort of predicting this show is going to go woke at some point and let itself go, because supposedly a lot of the other CW shows did. But I'm feeling really good about this show. I think it's going to stay consistent. It's going to focus on the family, and I don't smell the doom that other people are sort of predicting over this. And I'm just enjoying each week, and I'm just going to keep enjoying it. And I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.